All right, ladies and gentlemen, just want to welcome y'all to another episode of Power Pellet Podcast, episode number 4. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2014. I'm your co-host, DaVinci. I'm here with...
Kimbo Merk.
Kimbo Merk, where can they reach you at?
They can find me on Twitter. My personal account is Muse Hunter. Of course, they can find us on the show as well at the Power Pellet Podcast. Just do a search. You can find previous shows, episodes 1, 2, and 3 on YouTube. Right now, we have a channel also called the Power Pellet Podcast. And, of course, we are on Facebook. Same name, Power Pellet Podcast. Search us, hit the forums. We're always posting updated links and stories to the latest and greatest in the video gaming world, movies, comic books. So come check us out.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody stopping by, downloading, viewing on YouTube. However you were able to get your hands a hold of this podcast, we just want to say thank y'all. We still in beta.
Beta, baby. Hey, I was selling the last podcast out the back of my car, right?
Was it on flash drives or CDs?
It was on CDs, baby. Burnt CDs. I was like, I got that podcast. So, yeah, I didn't get a lot of sales. I mean, my wife bought one, but that was just so I would look silly outside.
That's cool. That's cool, man. What's been up since last time we talked? Since last week, what's been going on?
Mad news in the gaming world, but the big show today is about E3. E3 is coming. I feel like I need that. E3 is coming next month.
It's early. E3 is probably about 2 to 3 weeks away. I think June 10th is the first official day of E3, which is on a Tuesday. But I figure, why not now? Let's go ahead and put together just a little pre-E3 podcast, kind of talk about what rumors we heard and what we think and hope might happen during E3, things that are kind of spark the industry up again during the summertime as we get ready to go into the holidays in about 4 to 5, 6 months. Man, today it's not going to be a regular podcast. We won't have our regular breaks or music intros into our different segments. We just kind of wanted to have just a conversational type of podcast, talk about the big three companies, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and just kind of go over what rumors we've heard so far and just things that we're hoping to see during the E3 events. Did you Kimbo Merk, figure out who you want to talk about first?
I did, man. I did a lot of, me. I got the Sony tramp stamp. Well, some of y'all who knew. So I looked at a lot of stuff that was happening with Sony, man, just to see what's coming down the pipeline. Couple of dates. Sony's press conference is going to be on June 9th. The other gaming companies also will be having press conferences on that day. And the Nintendo, theirs is going to be on the 10th. Just kind of give you guys an idea. This is the pre-show conference.
Yeah, Nintendo's doing the Nintendo Direct. 2 years, this will be the second year in a row where they decided not to do an actual press conference. They're doing these direct videos where it's more or less they can literally control and know everything that they're going to present is going to work and is going to be represented in the way that they want it to be.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a technical thing because 2 years ago when they had the presentation and they were showing off Zelda with the Wii remote, because it was so much RF interference within the hall that they were presenting in that it wasn't working properly. So since then they kind of went away and they've been doing these Nintendo Directs, which are cool. They okay. I mean, I can understand why they're doing it. It's just not live. It's just pre-recorded and everything is cut and set how they want it.
Do you feel like that is taking away though from the actual live conference or presentation of E3? I feel like again, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I feel like there's a conspiracy behind this. And my conspiracy theory with this is, y'all ain't really got much to talk about, Nintendo.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
I showed you.
I can't get them right now.
Not yet.
Get them right now.
We should do Nintendo first. We will. I do just want to make a point.
Okay.
Microsoft's press conference is on June 9th. PlayStation's is on June 9th. Do you have any time frames specifically for PlayStation and what time they plan to hold their conference?
But I can tell you that the conferences begin at 9:30 in the morning. I think that's Pacific time, and they go all the way to 6 p.m.
So maybe Xbox first, like they did last year, and then PlayStation later on.
Right, right. You know, before we talk about this year, let's kind of touch back on last year briefly, man. Last year's conference was groundbreaking. I mean, you had the introduction of the new consoles, and just kind of looking at some of the articles, a lot of people thought that Sony, quote unquote, won E3 last year, but I don't know if they was really handing out trophies.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that whole Sony won, Microsoft won. I like when people kind of grade the conferences, but I don't like when they say this person won, that person won. I think at the end, everything should be all about, did we win?
Okay.
Did we hear what we wanted to hear and see the games that we were expecting and stuff like that?
And I think there's this console war, and I know there's this console war out there. I do think that Sony presented the better product at the time, and I think they met some of the gamers' expectations a little bit better than Xbox did. Like we talked in the last show, we see Xbox trying to backpedal and clean some things up. So maybe that's why people thought, Sony won. So
yeah.
I just kind of wanted to touch on that before we move forward. But I do have those times for the conferences for you. So here they are. Microsoft will be first to go on June 9th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They are followed by Electronic Arts at noon, Ubisoft at 3 o'clock. That threw me off with the military time.
Sony, is it the GSM or whatever?
Yeah. Sony is presenting at 6 o'clock p.m. And again, like I said before, Nintendo will be at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on that Tuesday. So now you guys know when to sneak off for your break at work or whatever you're doing. So you can see pre-show conference.
That gets me, man. I'll be at work and I'll be like, got the phone on burn blast, just eating all my data up, just trying to watch the live events as opposed to waiting until I got home to watch it. And I'm like,
right.
It's like why they couldn't do their conferences on Sunday. I think they would get the biggest, hugest draw on Sunday as opposed to, worrying about trying to do it on a Monday when everybody else is at work.
I never understood that either. But I mean, you do have people who actually take off work and go and participate in these conferences, man. And so
I would love to do that. I would love to go down and take a trip. I think it's in Vegas. Go down and just take a trip and be around E3. But I always hear like people come back and they come back with the bug. Everybody go down and get the E3 bug. And I'm like,
what's the bug?
Well, because you're in this convention hall and there's so many people and everybody, touching controllers, shaking hands. And
so you're about actually a bug.
Like sick.
Like SARS or something.
Sick, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, the easiest way to solve that is just wear rubber gloves all day.
You just see a bunch of gamers walking around with rubber gloves in their hand, like they going to perform surgery.
It's a lot better than coming back with that E3 flu. You don't want that,
right?
It's like everybody they catch it at all the big events and stuff. All the trade
now I don't want to go. That's nasty.
You never thought about that?
Nah.
Like, if could you imagine if like Howie Mandel had to go to like E3 or what's the big one for the Consumer Electronics Show? CES.
Yeah.
Going to that. Yeah. People always come back sick because everybody touching all the doors and everything.
That's why Nintendo don't go. That's why they do recorded videos. Nintendo's like, hey man, last time we went there, we got that bug. It was in our dream.
They still had a booth.
Like, I'm staying home.
Nintendo still got the booth. They still do the booths with showing the 3DSs and some of the games. I think what's cool about Nintendo. First off, let's just go into it. Let's just get into it. Yeah, we'll talk about Nintendo first. The first thing I like about Nintendo and what they do around E3 is every game that, not every game, but the major games that they decide to show, what they did last year and they're doing this year, which I think is cool, is that at Best Buy, certain Best Buy stores around the country, you'll be able to go into that store and, just kind of walk right in during the E3 times and try the game out and play the demos that they got out to show. I think that's pretty cool.
I like that. I think that's pretty cool as well. I still think that, I don't know, man. Nintendo is kind of like that strange uncle in your family that, you know, everybody love him, but he's weird, man. Nintendo's going weird on me, just in everything that they've been doing, and to me, it's just one more step in the direction of weird.
So you mean the uncle that was cool when he was younger, but now it's been 10, 15 years later, and you like, man, my uncle, he ain't changed not one bit.
Right. This is the uncle that, okay, he got stuck in 85. You know what I'm saying? Same hairdo, same color on his shirt. Yeah, same car. Hey, same music. And it's just like, hey, you need to catch up, man. We actually got cell phones now, and he still, you know, want to come inside and use your home phone.
Nintendo is in a rut, man. I think Nintendo out of anybody needs the big shot in the arm. But I think the way Nintendo is looking at it is they said one thing. They said for sure that they're not saying or releasing any information about any new hardware this E3. So that kind of holds the door open for next year a little bit. They didn't rule that out, and they said that when they finish one iteration of a hardware, they always start right away working on the next one. And I think they might have put their foot to the gas a little bit harder because they see that the Nintendo Wii U is nowhere near their expectations of where they hoped it would be around this time. Especially if you compare it to, I think it was like 3 months ago, I had heard that the Dreamcast had actually sold more units than where the Nintendo Wii U is at. And yet you see Sega had to go out of business, but that was because they had two failed consoles in a row. Right. Nintendo's on one. This is strike one for Nintendo. Is it two strikes and out in the console business now?
I think Nintendo I like to believe that they're too big to fail. And I think even Nintendo thinks that they're too big to fail. But
Nintendo can buy everybody right now in the country. They're like, I'm going to buy all of y'all. And that's how much money they got. So much money, man.
They got dog. They
got a lot of money. It's old money too.
They got old school money.
Yep. They got old money.
Not only do they have old school money, you have to give them credit for the Wii. The Wii came out and it hit a generation of gamers that never would have got on a console. You know what I'm saying? My mom had a Wii. You know, my mother-in-law had a Wii. And she's in her late 70s and 80s, and I think they picked up a market. Only problem they had is they didn't capitalize off of it. That's what I think. I don't think they said, we got it. We got the torch back. Let's run with it. They ran and they did this Wii U or the Dolphin or whatever it was called, man. And now they're kind of sputtering out. And part of that problem is having old money and being arrogant and being not being as creative as you need to be, not being as innovative as you need to be. So that's why I kind of put them in a category of weird. Go ahead.
It is weird. I think what Nintendo, what kind of hurt them before with the Wii, as far as hardcore gamers. I don't think like the very first mistake they made with that system was, I felt like if they'd have simply made the system 720p, not even necessarily 1080p.
You read my mind.
But 720p, I think that would have made a huge difference in the perception of that console. So by the time they released the Wii U, people are smarter. Your gamers are smarter. So gamers was like, okay, well, what's the difference? Oh, finally, now you have a higher resolution, but the game quality isn't that huge leap that we're seeing with the new consoles that we know are coming out next year. So, Nintendo, I want Nintendo to succeed because I love their franchises. I love Mario, Metroid, Zelda, Star Fox, Donkey Kong. I love all of their major hits. I just feel like they got it. They're in their own league, but to me as a gamer, I need them to keep up with the Joneses because I'm still on the fence with about getting the Wii U.
And see, that's exactly it. And Nintendo has been in its own division, in its own league for the longest of time because they've had some of the best original content. Their original content defined the video gaming world, man. The games you just named, we can get into the Marios and the Zeldas as well, and they just laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff that we see now. But it's also the very thing that is holding them back. I don't think, again, it's about innovation. They have not. You can put out the Mario 2015 right now, and again, it's kind of like really he's gonna jump on some turtle shells, go down the sewer. Bowser gonna catch your girl again. After a while, they're telling him, give me something different. I think And now I'm just talking out the side of my neck here. When Nintendo comes out with their next system, I want to see a Zelda kind of made in the format of Skyrim. That's what I want to see them do. I want to see them get away from the cartoony kitty type games, which I know is their bread and butter, but give me something that's more adult oriented. Imagine Zelda playing like Skyrim. Oh my God.
First person or?
Yeah. It can be first and third person. Video games you can do that right now.
Some of the older Zeldas, they had kind of a, just depending on what action you were doing or what you were trying to do at that moment on that certain level, it did shift to a first person. I can definitely see where you're coming from.
But it still had that cartoonish feel. Like when you play Skyrim, there's some blood and gore in there. And now I understand that may not be what they want to sell, but it's time for Zelda, for instance, to grow up. Imagine even like, and I'm just talking crazy, Super Mario Brothers playing almost like, not like a Call of Duty, but because that's not the right type of game, but just being more, get away from that scrolling screen format and just make it more of an adult brand, man. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think it's a far-fetched dream. I think for Nintendo, because they've always considered themselves a games company, not a video game company. They just so happen to make video games. For them, it is a bottom line, and it's about, the strength of their brand. So for them to come out with a Mario that is teen rated, I don't think we will ever get that.
Okay, so look, keep it G rated. Keep the blood and gore out of it.
So do you want to get away from all of the colors and the cartoonish animations, and you just want it more of a realistic tone?
I do, and here's why. I bought my kid, he's going on 10 now, so I bought him a Wii, and we bought him all the Mario games. And here was the problem. I'm playing Skyrim, he playing Super Mario Brothers, and after a while, guess what looked more appealing to him?
Kids always going to do what the adults are doing.
Well, yes and no, because he'll play Minecraft. Now, Minecraft to me is like an Atari type graphic game.
You got to be careful about Minecraft.
Graphic wise, I'm not talking about the content and what you can do in it. Yeah. I'm talking about bells and whistles. I'm talking about pretty gooey. I'm talking the graphic stuff. That's what I'm talking about. So he loves Minecraft, and he loves a game called Roblox, which is like Legos. And those games aren't high quality graphic games. As comparing them again to like the Uncharted or like a Skyrim, where it's a little bit more realistic. Yet and still, that we began to collect dust, in our house, because again, he just wasn't impressed by it anymore. When you see not just me, but his friends, and they're talking about the Call of Duties and the Battlefields and the Skyrims and even Little Big Planet or something like that, you drift away. How many times can you do the bowling? Even the bowling was great because it was new. But even the bowling, when the Kinect bowling came out, the Wii, if you had a Wii and you had Kinect, you kind of were like, wait a minute, why am I playing this Wii when I could do this Kinect? I just think that Nintendo kind of has to grow up in a way where they can, like you said, keep up with the Joneses. That's what I like to see.
I don't think your son is like is
unique in his gaming.
Kind of, because he grew up more around the mature side of gaming, as opposed to when I see a lot of kids toting 1 or 2 3DSs, in their pockets, and that's all Nintendo based. I see that now with my nieces and nephews, where they, we go road trip out south to go visit, an auntie or something. They each got a 3DS.
But isn't Nintendo big enough to do both?
I think if Nintendo does this, there's one way they can do it. If Nintendo says, okay, we'll try it this one time. We know people kind of been looking for it. We'll take that leap on the Mario. We'll create this Mario 3D that's a little more mature. Even if you just say graphically, right? You get rid of like the cartoon colors. You go, the tone is a little more realistic.
Right.
Yeah. You do that in the 3D format, and you don't touch the 2D format. The 2D format stays traditional.
Make them both. Yeah.
they can do. I can see them doing that now. Man, you would see like people who make like like Mario 3D videos and post them on YouTube where they've actually converted the graphics over. It's a fake, CGI made video. Graphics converted over. It looks good.
But why are they doing that? They're doing that because that's what they want to see, and that's what they want Nintendo to do. Nintendo can actually take Metroid, for instance, and let me back up. Take Mario and almost put him in the Metroid game, and that now you got this dude that's a little bit more mature. The action's a little bit more, I don't know, in your face type. Does that make sense? You want instead of a G tone, you want a PG tone. Yeah, I do. Even with Zelda, I do.
But I think they're scared because I don't even know if I would just say scared. I would just think that they know that that's the brand that they got and they just want to stand by it, and they don't feel it is necessary to go in that direction, not to move units like the last Mario Galaxy, the last 3D Mario game. Besides the one that I don't even know if they released one on the. So anyhow, Mario Galaxy 2 was rated higher than Mario Galaxy. It didn't sell a lot of units, but everybody who played that game thought that game was exceptional. So I don't think Nintendo, if they know that metric and they're like, okay, people like our game, so for them, I don't think there's a reason or a push why they would have to take just Mario itself and move it to a more mature audience when they have two specific franchises that they can do that with and would for sure be successful with Legend of Zelda and then Metroid. I would rather see Zelda or Metroid go that route. Metroid kind of had Metroid was rated mature. All three Metroid Primes were excellent games. Specifically Metroid Prime 1, and they were all rated teen, I think. Not mature, but teen. But they were really good games. And when Nintendo released the other M Metroid, when they actually decided to let a different company make a game, it didn't work. It failed. So they're real. They clinch their properties. Yeah, they want. I think they want to. I just don't think they trust the process.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Looking at the Wii U and it sells, what's that game that's going to move the hardware? That's my concern. What's going to move the hardware? They don't have that game that's exclusive to Nintendo that makes you want to go out and spend that money on the Wii because you got to play this particular game.
They do, but it's a game that neither me or one of you plays, but I hear people talk about all the time.
What game is that?
Smash Brothers. Right, but the disclaimer that I put before I said that, but that game is huge. That's a tournament game. People love that game, and the very idea that they're going to release Smash Brothers on the Wii U and the 3DS, I think it's wrong. Let's do this. We got a Nintendo E3 list, some photos leaked on the web. For their digital event and the games that they plan to talk about. So I'm gonna read off the games, and if you feel like commenting, you can comment. If not, I'll just continue to go down it.
All right, cool.
All right, I got I sent you one, but then there's another one I also found. I think I'm gonna go off the other one, and that way, in case I miss anything, you can kind of pick up from there.
Hey, people, let me tell you something about this list he's finna read from. I think that DaVinci got people working at MI5. I could hear the Mission Impossible music.
It on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
All you got to do is Google Nintendo E3 2014 and it pops up.
They drugged somebody at Nintendo and went in their briefcase and stole this list. So just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening here. Go ahead, Jay.
All right. First on the list is by developer Monolith Software. It's for the Wii U. It's a title called X. That's a temporary title. Got a launch window of Q4 2014. I've never heard of that game personally myself.
I haven't either.
Yeah. Then we have a game by the developer Bandai Namco and Sora. This is Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS and for the Nintendo Wii U. Q3 2014 for the 3DS and then Q4 for the Nintendo Wii U. If that's true, I think that's dumb. I don't agree with it.
Why is it dumb?
Let me rewind it a little bit. So let's just look at it this way then. Let's just say the Nintendo 3DS is the PlayStation 4. And then the Nintendo Wii U, or Nintendo 3DS is the PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii U is the PlayStation 4. I don't think it's smart to release it on the 3DS, and the game is very well. It's released on a system that has a larger fan base than your major hardware, your major home console.
Gotcha.
And expect for people to wait 3 months and get it for that home console. Also, I don't understand. To me, I don't understand the logic of why they would do that. It doesn't show faith in that Nintendo Wii U brand.
Is this kind of similar to Titanfall coming out on the 360 and the One?
I thought about it, but then I think it was backwards, right? Because if it was similar, they would release it on the Wii U first.
Right.
And give it a chance. People will say, oh, man, this game's good. So then when they release it on the 3DS, people who don't have a Wii U can get this game. And then at the same time, people could be like, yo, I got this game. It's hot. I need to take it on the go.
Yeah, again, man, I think this is kind of, we're in that transition phase. And this is a transition, I think, for them as well. You already have.
How long do you transition for?
Well, I mean, again, you already have these consoles in people's hand. So you already have. You don't need people to go out and buy a whole new system just to play this game. So you can move units. You got to make that money that you've invested in developing this game. You already know people got these systems. So sell the game, get it in their hands. Anything else after that almost becomes gravy to an extent. But again, you're in that transition. So maybe next year or a year and a half from now, when that 3DS kind of slides or whatever, then you can kind of pump up the Wii U. I mean, personally, I think Nintendo is going to look at this Wii U. They're going to look at it as being, they're going to cut their losses with it, and they're going to hop into the next generation of hardware. It's just coming, man. They have to.
I kind of don't want them to, though. I kind of want to see them. They coming with the
dolphin dog.
I just want to see them write this out because I really want to go get a Wii U. I really want to go get Mario Kart. I do. I want to go get Mario Kart. I want to go get all the Mario games. I want to go get what was the other game they came out with? But I want them to come out with this Zelda game for the Wii U, and I want all these games to succeed. I want Nintendo to do good. I grew up playing Nintendo. I don't want them. I feel like if they were going to do it, maybe next year is the time when they're going to come out with this new hardware, right? So let's just say they do come out with it next year.
What's the life cycle, though, on the Wii? Would that have been 2 years, 3 years? 3 years, right?
On the Wii U?
On the Wii U. It'd be 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And consoles go, 5 to 7 years?
Gosh. Could you imagine you're Nintendo and you've been doing this for so long and you come out with this new hardware? I think in the back of their mind, they were so full of themselves and just sure.
That's what I want to hear.
well, they messed up. Don't name it the Nintendo Wii U because people don't understand. Dude, you know how many people would tell me like, oh, the Wii U, that's an attachment for the Wii, right? And it's like, no, this is a new console, right? I'm like, oh, it's that little tablet that's a game controller now. It's like, no, this is their new console, and they messed up. They didn't want to let go of the Wii brand. I think they should have let it go. It did good. It served its purpose. Create and move on, progress. So, really quick, so we can get back to the list. Would Nintendo have been better off just naming it the Wii 2?
They would. Let me tell you what they should have did. They should have called that sucker the Super Wii. You already got the NES.
That's
out
good.
With the Super NES. They should have called this thing the Super Wii. It would have sold like hotcakes.
Yep.
People could recognize that this is the next system, just like you did.
Super stands out more than just
Super stands out more.
You see,
Super
what is that?
Right.
Do you know what that is?
It's an attachment.
That's a U.
That you put on the letter T
on the screen.
You know what I'm saying?
You hook it up to the Wii, right?
Yeah, it's a U.
You
get UFH stations, I think, with it.
Anyway. Well, you attach it to the nunchuck, right? And then
Wii U.
No. Sorry, Nintendo.
Don't do that.
All right. Going down the list, Yoshi Yarn for the Wii U. That's a temporary placeholder name for.
Was that Yawn as YAWN?
No, that's like yarn, like you about to crochet. But I see where you coming from.
Okay, I'm gonna let it go.
That's Q3 2014. Yoshi was cool, man. So we got to see what they do with this one. I like the Yoshi, the Yoshi Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. I like that game from Super Nintendo. So
what's the little strong mushroom dude?
Toadstool.
Let's get a Toadstool game, and now we talking.
Dude, that'd be hot though, right?
I'm joking. No, it would not be.
It would be hot. You got
Toadstool game.
Yeah, you make Toadstool. That's a whole. You just wait. Hold on. I'm picturing it right now, Nintendo.
No, you don't.
Yep.
No.
All right, look, Nintendo. You don't have to make the gritty Super Mario game.
Ooh,
what you do is
let me close my eyes and think about that too.
Super Mario Toadstool's Adventure, and you make Toadstool
Gangster.
Act real reckless. He's strong. Why not?
Give him a tattoo.
Yeah.
Get rid of that mushroom and give him a bandana.
Give him a tattoo of princess on his arm.
Oh, you're doing too much now.
All right. Next, we got Platinum Games. Wow. Okay, this is a rumor.
Okay.
Star Fox U.
Woo! Let me tell you something.
Hold your breath before you say it.
Okay.
The rumor.
I'm excited. Come on, man.
This is. I hope this rumor is not true because it's dumb and it's stupid.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's dumb and it's stupid, and Nintendo's about to drive me crazy if it's called Star Fox U. The rumor about it is that it's a remake of Star Fox 64, and they're re-releasing it on the Nintendo U. That's the rumor.
Somebody please hit the forum, hit us, just let me know what the heck a U is. Please. Listen, all right, I'm not going to focus on the U, but I am going to focus on Star Fox. Now, Star Fox to me was revolutionary.
Dog, when Star Fox, I remember the day when I went and got Star Fox 64.
Right.
It came with the Rumble Pack. I'm like, man.
Yes.
Everything about it, they was talking on the game. Yes. You can go to different routes. That tone, that feel, that game had a feel to it where when you got to the map and it got dark, you felt that like, oh my gosh, it was in 3D, of course, and it was just amazing with that analog controller on the Nintendo 64. Everything about Star Fox 64 was top quality. To me, that's a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game at that time.
So what happened with this game? Because this should have been their flagship.
Well, they goofed, right? So you had the Nintendo GameCube. They came out with Star Fox Adventures or something. How you gonna make a Star Fox game and he's on the ground? He's not in his plane. He's in a tank.
I remember
and all this. That was dumb. That was dumb.
Star Fox. So you take this pilot, you make this innovative fighting game, give this dude a spaceship. You literally had at this time Luke Skywalker almost in his X-wing fighter, and then you tell him, "We're gonna take that from you, and now you need to walk."
Not even that. Imagine the Speed Racer game where Speed Racer ain't racing.
That ain't Speed Racer.
That's not Star Fox.
That's okay.
Moving on. Platinum Games got another game coming out, which I'm not a fan of, but I know it's got a huge draw to it. Bayonetta 2. That's a big game for the Nintendo Wii U.
Bayonetta 1 was actually a pretty fun game. That kind of hack and slash. It did some cool things with her hair. And Bayonetta was a fun game. Yeah, it was.
Then we got Monolith coming out with a Legend of Zelda game. This is the official.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem. It's got and let's just say this list is real.
Okay.
There's no launch date on this. That's a problem. I think outside of Mario, Legend of Zelda is Nintendo's flagship brand, right? Everybody go crazy over. If they don't buy Mario, it's Legend of Zelda.
It's just not their flagship brand. I think this is probably next to a Metroid. This is kind of that older. This is their mature game.
Not really. Not the way they present it. No.
He has a sword.
It's for everybody, though. I think. It is. It's for everybody. And here's the biggest thing about Zelda. When they re-released the previous Legends of Zelda, it was a remake. It was from the GameCube version of the game. I'm gonna look this name up, but this game is the one that everybody is hoping that they do what you were talking about earlier, where if they want
it's Skyrim, baby,
they want their gritty Legend of Zelda game. And everybody's just hoping that this is the one. And I don't know if Nintendo's going to do that. I don't know if they're going to go darker tone and, make everything just look like you said, Skyrim-esque. It's not all colorful and, they could still have the funny looking creatures and everything could still look a certain way. If they give it that Darksiders touch, I think it's a hit. Darksiders is a game that favors heavily on the Legend of Zelda, where it's dungeon crawling in the same faction that Legends of Zelda is. The storyline isn't as good as Legend of Zelda, but it's a really good game along that same vein. And I'm just hoping that if this is true and this is the one, that they could pull it off and just give everybody the game that they want.
And again, let's make it exclusive. Well, like I said, let's make it exclusive. It's already exclusive.
Wind Waker.
It
was called Wind Waker.
Okay. Zelda to me has to be careful. There's two things I want to touch on. One, Zelda has to be careful because you can fall into that Assassin's Creed trap where you just have so many games out there that the uniqueness of your game kind of fades away.
But they haven't released. It looks like they have, but they haven't released the actual Zelda game since the Nintendo Wii first came out. They haven't.
Sure they have.
No.
I played one on the Wii.
That was the one.
Okay.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah, that's the one, Skyward Sword.
Right, so it's been roughly 6 or 7 years since a real legitimate Zelda game came out. But don't you think these
Zelda games, there's nothing to me that's really unique about them that separates each of those games? The names, but I mean, what makes you say...
It's the enemies. It's not so much... It's not... It's about the enemies and it's about that adventure. It's about you going... It's a formula to me that works. I just think it's on the wrong console. I think if Legends of Zelda was released on the Xbox, let's say Nintendo sold, they shut down software only except for 3DS, and they're going to bring all their franchises to Xbox and PS4. This game will be a monster. Like no one else is going to release their game before or after the weeks before or after Zelda comes out.
So this is almost a Grand Theft Auto where it's kind of like everybody stay away.
It is.
Here comes GTA.
It is.
Don't release your game this month.
They're just not releasing it on the right consoles in the right way. So
okay, so here's what I think would happen if exactly what you said. If Nintendo quit making hardware, it says software only, and then they said, okay, now we're going to put this on Xbox and Sony. Here's what would happen. I think you will have this initial rush of people who have been waiting for this to happen. They will run out. They will buy all this new software just so they can have it. They can play it. It becomes nostalgic. And I think then you'll fall off the cliff. Because the reason I think you'll fall off the cliff is because I think Nintendo is still going to bump their head up against not updating their games, but making their games a little bit more mature. I think they're going to get... That's their problem to me, is that they will still chase after that young crowd. And again, after nostalgia passes, nobody wants to buy your game because, again, it's the same stuff, same kiddie games. And it's just, been there, done that, man. And I just need something new from them.
I just think it has to be done on a grander scale. Nintendo knows that Nintendo found out. They said, "Oh wait, you mean all them consoles we sold on the Wii U weren't bought by people who actually play video games because those people didn't go out and buy. Those people bought the Wii and didn't go out and buy the Wii U. So now Nintendo has to refocus and say, okay, the hardcore gamer does truly exist, and the hardcore gamer will speak with their wallet. So I think if Nintendo comes up to E3 and they're like, look, here it is, Legends of Zelda, boom, and it just looks amazing, right? It looks exactly. Now they don't show anything about. It doesn't matter how it plays; it's gonna play good. It doesn't matter about the storyline; storyline's gonna be good. It doesn't matter about what are they showing Link doing? Is Zelda in it? What is she doing? Who's saving who? None of that matters, right? First impression, right? When you first meet this blind date, you want her to be bad. She could be dumber than a bag of rocks,
right?
But you want her to be bad, right? So if Nintendo shows up at the conference, Legend of Zelda, and it just looks incredible,
right?
I think everything
incredible compared to what? Compare it. Are we talking Second Son, graphic incredible? Are we talking?
It's not going to be on
Uncharted?
that level. It's not going to be on that level, and it doesn't have to. A good game doesn't have to have the best graphics in the world.
I gotta stop
it
you there.
doesn't.
Yes, you do. Listen. Now because we don't hit on Nintendo a long time, so let's hit them and get off. They came out with the Wii U. With the Wii, it didn't have HD graphics. Then they came out with the Wii U, which was comparable to maybe your Sony, PlayStation 3 or Xbox, and yet you still don't have the content that can match up with the games that are already out there. With 6-7 years of games that are just banging out there. So yes.
So if
Nintendo need a big splash.
If Legend of Zelda comes out, they announced Legend of Zelda June 9th or whatever day it's going to be during E3, right? And it looks as good as The Last of Us, would you not be happy?
That's next level to me.
That's
the leap that Nintendo needs to make. Graphically, maturity, they need some grit.
That's more of a maturity level. That's not
It is. It's gritty. They need to become a little bit gritty with this game.
That's not graphics. Just that's more tone. The graphics are there. The Wii U pushes harder than the PS3 and the Xbox 360. On paper, it does.
I understand you're separating the two. So maybe graphics isn't the word we should be using. Maybe it's theme.
Just the overall theme and the tone.
Yes, maybe theme and the tone is what we're touching on here.
Right. Grand slam if they do this. So
yes, without question.
All right. Next on the list, we got Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask on the 3DS. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
Right.
I am. I'm good with that. Paper Mario on the Wii U.
Mario game.
Well, it's this is different. Paper Mario's got a different following than your regular Mario.
Is Mario in it?
Paper Mario was like South Park for Mario.
Gotcha. But Mario's in it, right?
I like Mario.
Everybody loves Mario. I'm not dissing the man. I'm just saying Mario everywhere.
They don't have a Paper Mario on the Wii U, so this will sell more. This will sell an extra system.
Is Nintendo scared of making a new character?
They got a ton of characters. They don't have to make new characters. They just not using them. They're not using them. They got a ton of characters. If you go play the new Smash Brothers, this game's supposed to have 30, 40 characters, right?
Of everybody that's been in all their games before.
Right. But think if you go down the list of how many games these characters done been in major hits.
Right.
It's like you got all these starters on your bench, but you keep playing all these other dudes.
Now that you say that, you know who Nintendo is? They are the Disney World of video games.
Wow. That's a good way to put it.
They are. Mario is simply Mickey Mouse. And it's smart. I mean, you don't have to make another Mickey Mouse. They don't have to come. Although Disney comes out with new characters and new princesses and stuff like that, we know who their bread and butter is. It's the mouse ears. You know what I mean? It's Donald Duck. It's Goofy. We know where they can fall. Their foundation is, and I think that's what Nintendo is equal to. They are the Disney world of video games.
Agreed.
No, but here's the danger. I don't want to go to Disney World. I might take my kids, but I don't want to go to Disney World. I want to go to Six Flags because the rides are more exciting and it's gritty. Yeah,
I've never heard one person who said they went to Disney World and didn't have a good time.
I'm not going to even get into it.
Next on the list, we got, this is exciting. This is big to me.
It's a small world after all.
Retro Studios. Are you familiar with Retro? Let me just give you a couple of games that they made. It might kind of jog your memory.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Metroid Prime, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3.
Okay.
On the list is Metroid by Retro Studios.
Metroid by Metroid.
By Retro Studios. If this is true, I'm open to it. I'm still in that. You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that when Nintendo runs down and they say, this is what we got. Metroid's on the list. Metroid to be out within the next year. I could live with that. Zelda be out by the end of the year. I could live with that. And then say,
what do you want in your Metroid game?
You know what I want? I want my Metroid to be on the scale of Halo.
Wow.
Why shouldn't it already be on that?
That would be
level,
amazing.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. First-person shooter has come so far since those Metroid games have come out. Why not give it that epic Call of Duty scale and feel? It doesn't have to be, run and gun, but give me those tight controls like Call of Duty. and give me that storyline like Halo, and just take me on this great first person adventure with one of the most famous Nintendo characters out there.
So again, this is like Disney buying Marvel or Star Wars.
Marvel.
You have to have that. Yeah. Let's get that adult product out there.
This is their chance to go adult with it. And hopefully the new Zelda. So
mature with it. Yeah,
we'll see. Okay. Skip a couple because a lot of them say new franchises.
Right. Do they have Mario in the name?
Huh?
Do they have Mario in the name?
No. They just says new franchises. It doesn't. it ain't no hint. It just says like somebody's saying like a new game.
Super new Mario.
Got a Pokemon game on there. I'm cool with that. That's for 3DS.
My son wants to play Pokemon now, so I might get him into that.
Your nephew play Pokemon a lot, don't he?
He's a master. He's a Pokemaster, if that exists.
By Sega. This is interesting. Sega Corporation, Nintendo. F-Zero for the Wii U.
Oh, here we go, man. Listen. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. Okay. Remake. Go ahead.
I think it's a remake that... Okay, all right.
I won't go get into it.
Nah.
I said that now.
I think for Nintendo, for me, I feel like Nintendo's the only company that I would give a pass to where if every 3 months they came out with the next whatever of their popular franchise, they could be the only company I could get that pass to. And I would not never complain because I feel like I buy a Nintendo for Nintendo games.
That very pass is the very thing that got them caught up in their own success, got them smelling themselves, was that people was giving them passes. They gave themselves a pass. And now they're, I can't say they're struggling because they're old money, but they are being very slow to catch up to the next generation.
That's because you don't see every 2 years. You don't see, except for Mario, you don't see them taking their franchises, their Kirby's or anything like that, and every 2 years coming out with this big major AAA title. They not doing it, and I think that's what's pissing people off. Actually,
I think you nailed it right there. I think that's the very problem that they have is that you're going to get a Call of Duty. 5-6 years you're going to get a Grand Theft Auto. The next Uncharted is coming. You even know the next Assassin's Creed is coming. You don't know what's coming with Nintendo.
That's why a lot of people haven't bought the Wii U because they don't know what they're getting. It's not there. Last game on the list. I got a big problem with this one. It's by Tecmo with Nintendo. Hyrule Warriors.
I thought you were going to say Tecmo Bowl.
Nah.
Something to go up against Madden. Hyrule Warriors. Okay.
Yeah. What Hyrule Warriors is Nintendo gave Tecmo the go-ahead to make a Legend of Zelda version of Dynasty Warriors. I don't see how this is a niche market for the U.S. This has got to be for like the Japanese market.
I was sitting there to say those games are huge over there. Those games are huge in that market, and I think that's probably one of the things you and I haven't touched on is that we may not be necessarily Nintendo's major demographic. Man, they're making games for their country, their people. If we buy them, I think that's great, but they know where their bread and butter comes from.
Ain't too much butter on that bread. The whole industry has shifted to the West. The entire industry has shifted to the West. It's gotten away from Japan for the most part. That's why Xbox and PlayStation didn't release their new consoles in Japan first at all.
Okay.
It's just not there, man. And I feel like Nintendo is got that old Japanese corporation mentality that they have to break it. They have to break it to be successful with their major in-home console.
Man, I can't remember. I know I read an article about what Japanese gamers were playing, and I want to say it was. I need to look it up, but I don't know if it was MMOs that they were playing on a computer or if it was Nintendo. I can't remember, but whatever it was huge, but it was old and like it wasn't with the newer generation of games, the newer consoles, it was kind of like they had this huge I think it's MMOs on the computer, and they may not have been some of the more popular MMOs, but whatever it was playing, it was a huge amount of people playing it, and they really weren't looking to give it up too easy. And that might be why, your Xbox and Sony said, there's really not any money to be made over there right now.
I got a couple last points. Do you have any last points on Nintendo before we move on?
No, I'm done.
All right. Yeah, I just hope Nintendo, I hope they come really big with two of the franchises I love, Metroid and then The Legend of Zelda. I really hope they come really big. And then also, I hope that, I think for them, it would be the best interest for them to do what Microsoft did, drop the gamepad, get the price down under $200, even if it's got to be $199. And get somebody like me who wants to buy a Nintendo Wii U, a reason to actually go out and get that console. So right. I hope that they do that. We'll see what happens. Who you want to hit on next? Actually, you know what? Before we go to Xbox and PlayStation, I just want to mention a couple games that's rumored. Just 2 or 3 games. One's been announced. Far Cry 4 has been announced. Supposedly it's going to show up at E3. They did release a new poster for that, so we'll see. No comment on the Far Cry.
Yeah, I read an article, man, about Far Cry. Far Cry getting some heat, man. Far Cry's cover for this new game that's coming out. It's been called racist. It's been called homophobic.
Wow.
It's been called I don't know the word for it, but it's basically it getting heat because they're saying being evil is now good. So Far Cry gets some heat, man. I looked at the cover, and I see where everybody that looks at it when they're looking through their own filter can essentially pull out everything I just mentioned, but
without even knowing anything about
the
major story.
And that's the problem. Nobody knows about the story, who the villain is, what's going on. So you go off of, like you just said, first impressions. When you meet a young lady, you want her to be that book of the bow, the boo, the bam, but she can be dumb as a rock. Well, I think this is a game that you have to dig into to really understand it. One of the comments I heard or read was, well, it's a villain. You want your villain to be a villain, evil, right? Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, IGN has a good article on this. It's called The Far Cry 4 Controversy, Evil Was Good. Look, go read it. Go check it out. Form your own opinion about it. Sometimes I think you get a lot of people that are in the video game industry. They see something, they don't understand it. They don't understand the history behind the franchise, and they just kind of make a comment on that first impression.
Right.
So
2 more, and then just hit the pause button for a second. The other one is Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Yeah. Yes. Where's it set?
I can't tell you.
It ain't in Vegas. Okay.
Fallout 4, the successor to Fallout 3, very huge franchise.
Yeah, man. I think Fallout 4 again. It's an excellent game. I think it revolutionized video games. Any game that you can go out and collect stuff and hoard it is great.
So even if let's say they give you a CGI trailer and a logo, you good. You know what's coming. Fallout is one of those games that you just go out and you reserve because you had so much success with Fallout 3 and then with New Vegas. You know what you're getting. Okay. You know you're gonna get a good. If they don't ground it like they did Star Fox, you know you're gonna get a good product. Right. So. All right, and then Assassin's Creed Unity.
Next.
Well, the thing with that, this game is not supposed to be for previous gen. This is supposed to be current generation only, and then they're supposed to be releasing a totally different game for 360 and PS3. So this is a next generation Assassin's Creed, and it's got like 11 different Ubisoft studios working on it. This is like them coming big or going home. Still not interested?
No, Assassin's Creed is the equivalent of Call of Duty.
How they just squeeze the life out of that game?
Ain't no life in it. They're literally selling Big Macs now. They just are. You know what you're gonna get. We're not gonna change it. The sauce is the same. The secret sauce has been the same. We're not changing it. Here, have another Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
All right. I'm gonna hit the stop button for you real quick, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah. Next, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get into Xbox. Okay. So far, Xbox, they dropped the price, which I'm really surprised that again that they didn't say that for the big deal with E3. They dropped the price, and now there's a rumor that Xbox is going to release a Halo 2, a special Xbox One edition of Halo 2, a remaster like they did with Halo 1 for the Xbox 360. Plus, when they do that, they're going to release Halo 3 and Halo 4 campaign, Halo 1, Halo 3, Halo 4 campaign with the updated graphics for the Xbox One. When I heard that, I'm like, I cannot wait to get me an Xbox One.
Okay.
Halo 2 had some of the best first-person shooter multiplayer ever.
Right.
I think Halo 2 had the best multiplayer. And if I'm going to get that same type of gameplay and control and style and everything on the Xbox One, that for me, that's more of a reason now to dive in. And then especially if they offer a Halo 5 beta with that, that's a home run. They can't lose with that. I think, especially now that they're saying that Halo 5 for sure isn't coming out till 2015, I feel that there's a lot of truth in at least Halo 2 being released in a mastered edition for the Xbox One.
Oh man, I'm again, I played Halo. I watched you play it. It was weird, man, because I can remember playing Modern Warfare 2 at the time and just running, just ruling that game. But then I would get on Halo and literally get smashed out. It wasn't even on a noob level. It was like a negative noob level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, here I am watching my niece, and she's running around with this dang on laser sword. What's the sword called?
Just laser sword. It's just a
laser sword. She's running around with a doggone sword, chopping dudes up. I got the heaviest gun that's made, and I'm like, yeah, come on. And I'm just getting smashed, dude. I mean,
headshots count in Halo.
Man, I had to put it down because I was better off watching you play than being out to get my feelings hurt. I was happy to get home and get back on my Call of Duty at that time.
Man, when the Xbox 360 came out and Halo 2 was for the original Xbox, first Xbox, and they said you could put it in the 360 and just go clean it up a little bit and you could play it and you get the same experience. Hours and hours and hours of Halo 2 multiplayer on the Xbox.
Yeah.
So, to hear that this, is a rumor, there's a flyer going around that's showing all 4 games released on the Xbox One. Halo 2 multiplayer, which was the best Halo multiplayer to me, in my opinion. I'm down. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm like, man, this is for me. This is a big deal. This is like something that really caught my attention for me to definitely pick up if I get an Xbox One, which I definitely plan to do this fall, hopefully. So,
okay, so kids, the word of the day again is innovation. So let's get on the other side of this of DaVinci's excitement. I'm excited. I get it. Halo is probably one of the only games, one of few games that I think that you could really do this with and get away with it because of what Halo meant to video game in itself, what it meant to Xbox as a product. But is this a lack of innovation? Is this a money grab?
Absolutely a money grab.
Absolutely a money grab.
And as I say
that's
that,
what I want to hear.
and as I say that, if somebody was taking a picture of me saying that it's a money grab when we talk about this conversation, it would be my wallet with my credit card sticking out going into a Microsoft employee's hands.
That's hilarious.
I got no problem with them taking one of their very best franchises, cleaning it up, bringing it back to me and saying, look, It looked good, don't it? I'm like, dog, it looked real good. Let me get that. I got no problem with it.
Give me more money for the game that you already played.
From 10 years ago. Yeah.
From 10 years
unfortunately.
You know what? But there was this, I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine that plotted my clan for the Modern Warfare. And I asked them, I said, if Call of Duty said, listen, we're going to take all our Modern Warfare maps, we're going to take them all, we're going to throw them all on a downloadable game, would you pay $20 to $25 to go back and play all of these games as maybe a Call of Duty All-Stars or a Call of Duty Generations or something as one game, as opposed to having to stick a disc in to get maps for, various games? Would you go out and spend that money just to have this all in one product? New graphics, maybe on the PlayStation 4, would you do it? And you know what? I think if Call of Duty did that, man, it would sell like hotcakes. And I have to admit, I would probably be the first in line, to buy it. Because there were some maps on there, just like you could say there were some levels on Halo that you miss. You want to play. And so I get it. I think this is a great move by Microsoft.
I just sent you the link. Click on that link real quick so you can see what I'm talking about.
I think it's going to boost their sales, and so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, this is. I think for Xbox, I think they need this. I think especially when they ran the trailer for Halo 5 at last year's E3 with everybody who kind of had high hopes of them releasing that this year. I think this is a filler, and I think that this is needed. This is definitely needed. Were you able to get that picture yet?
Yes.
It should have just been a picture.
It popped right up. It took me to a Tumblr website.
It is. That's what it's from.
Okay. It was playing a lot of music, so I'm going to check it out later. It was drowning out your voice.
I want you to see the image.
Okay, fine. I will go back. Give me a moment to turn off their music somehow.
I see what you're saying. It's got all this other. If you just scroll down two or three, and it should be right there.
Okay. So Halo 5 Guardians, is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, it should be a Halo the Master Chief Collection. Got a picture of the four covers.
This almost looks like a movie, man.
The way the poster looks?
Yeah.
But you see him with the four covers, right?
Well, with the four gifts?
Yeah, nah, I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay, I went further down. I see the four covers.
Okay, yeah.
No, Grub Killer. This is very poor. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Just as a gamer, does that, knowing what Halo was about, does that not get you excited just as a gamer?
It does. I think, again, when you're a Halo fan, this does get you excited.
Even the Halo 2 cover is the best cover.
Let's see what they do with it. Again, I touch on innovation. I thought Halo, honestly, I thought after they finished that one Halo, they weren't making any more, and then all of a sudden, several more popped up. So, give me something new. There's a lot of creative people in this world out there. Give me something new. I love Halo. Give me something new. It's out there.
But what if new isn't always better?
And you cannot be scared to make new product. And that's a whole different show.
I don't think, well, no, we can talk about it real quick. I don't think Xbox is scared of new product. It's a business. We always say the industry is a business, and this sells, and this is going to make them a lot of money. It's going to make them a lot of money. I haven't really heard too many other rumors about what Xbox is going to do. All they keep talking about is they want to make sure that E3 this year is going to be about games, and more games. And
more games, right. We have to have games. Just your console's out, you need games. You need software.
And I think with that being said, I think that there's going to be a lot of new stuff that they're going to show, that we haven't seen yet, and then they're going to show us more of, what's yet to come that they did get to talk about a little bit last year. Just a couple things that I wouldn't mind seeing from Microsoft. I want to see more of the game. I think it's Quantum Theory, the game where the guy's able to freeze time and just kind of break down a crime scene and all that stuff. They showed that, and that's supposed to have that live show that's mixed with it, which I really don't need, but whatever. I do hope I do hope that they mention something else with a new, fresh Gears award that they're supposed to be showing. Even if they just show a trailer, you ain't got to show me gameplay. Just show me a little teaser trailer. Let me know what's coming.
Right.
I definitely want to see a new Crackdown, especially after playing Saints Row 4. I feel like we're due for a real true sequel, because Crackdown 2 was Crackdown 1 with. What they did with Crackdown 2 was the same thing that they did with Saints Row 4, where it was Saints Row the Third. The storyline's different, but then they mixed in aliens, but it's still the same city and all that stuff. I want a real, true, another game of Crackdown.
That game felt like they weren't quite sure where they wanted to go with it, but we needed to do something to capitalize off the first game. That's what Crackdown 2 felt like to me.
So maybe this is the year of new IP for Microsoft, where they just come big, because they don't have a lot of first party heavy hitters and a lot of indie games like the PlayStation has, and I feel like they really need that this year, especially coming out off of the rough publicity, the negative publicity that they had on the previous 6 or 7 months or even a year back when they first announced the Xbox One. I feel like they gotta recover. They gotta come big.
They gotta recover.
You think
They're
about
recovery.
it, dog. Could you imagine? Like I'm Phil Spencer, or the CEO of Microsoft, and I'm like, look, yeah, I'm hitting the emergency button on the Xbox right now. We got to recover. So for me as a gamer, that makes me extremely excited for E3 this year with the Xbox. And then I'm still curious to see if they go do anything with the Xbox 360 and what their future plans are for that, because there's still money to be made for them dealing with that console. And I think as long as they see it like that and they don't abuse that right, that as gamers we can get a lot of good product coming from them.
I think, man, listen, you hit it on the head last week. You have people who are now just getting to the Xbox 360, PS3 gaming world, and they have this library that is just huge and is stocked with some of the best wines from around the world, and you can sample any of them. And I think that's that's great. So you can't just abandon the Xbox 360 right now. The same thing for PlayStation 3. I think there's still money to be made off of them. Now, were you done with Xbox? Because I have a transition.
Yeah, I don't have that I could think of, or maybe
anything else you don't want to see. You want to see from them, or
not really. There's not much else I expect from Xbox anymore. Xbox was my leading console, so if a good strong third party game came out, I would get it on the Xbox 360, and then I had the PlayStation 3 as a filler for their first party, and now it's reverse. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's something good.
All right, so I'm gonna make this transition here. I saw, I think in a forum, somebody suggested. No, it was an article I was reading. What if Sony said, "Listen, you can sell your Vitas. You can trade your Vitas in. I'm sorry, you can trade your what is that thing to connect in, and get money towards a Vita." Had me cracking up, man.
Wow.
Could you imagine that promotion? Bring your Xbox Connect, and we'll give you $100 towards the new Vita. Wow! So, would you do it?
I have a Vita, and I don't play my Vita now.
Okay, all right. So that's what I wanted to touch on first. Was, of course, Sony has the Vita, PS Vita Slim.
Well, not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Let me clarify though. If I originally bought the Xbox One and somebody was giving me like a power trade or a bonus of something with that Connect, I'd be selling that bad boy.
You're abandoning the ship, huh?
Just the part of the ship that's sinking.
Just the part of the ship that's sinking. A ship, if it sinks, all of it's going down.
I hope they got lifeboats, life rafts.
Let's just call the Connect a lifeboat. But yeah, man, Sony, I read a couple of articles, man, about some of the stuff that other people was expecting to come to E3. And there's a lot, but there were a few major things that I want to touch on as far as what Sony may preview or may touch on. They have a lot coming down the line.
Can you give a quick disclaimer about that Sony PS 1, 2, 3, and 4 tattoo that you have before we continue talking about Sony?
I have it autographed, so I'm not sure if that needs to have a disclaimer.
He did mad research for his favorite console.
I got sticky notes, baby. I got sticky notes. I should give an award for my sticky notes.
How many topics you got? You got like 6 or 7 things pre E3 alone that you found.
I'm gonna hit you with games, and I'm gonna hit you with some major stuff I think for Sony. So let me hit you with the games first.
Okay, go ahead.
Drum roll, please. Uncharted 4, baby.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4.
And you know what I heard about that was that they were kind of puffing their chest out a little bit, saying what they were saying, like, okay, y'all loved how Infamous looked. Wait till Uncharted 4 comes out, shutting everything down.
Shazam. Wasn't Uncharted 4 the graphics when you first saw it? You just you drooled for a minute before you even played, because it was Uncharted 2. You were just like, wow, this game is beautiful. This is this is what we've been waiting for the PlayStation 3. It's gorgeous. I didn't know my system could do this.
And it made me frustrated. You dressed up
well, baby.
It made me frustrated because
I
played Uncharted 1 and I was like, that was okay. And I put in Uncharted 2 and I was like, wow.
And they fixed the controls for Uncharted 2. They fixed the sticks for Uncharted 2.
And Uncharted 2 blew me away graphics wise. And then they came out with Uncharted 3 and it kind of topped that bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So Uncharted 4 is coming. I'm expecting them to preview it. Man, I can't wait to see how beautiful this game is going to look on that.
So do you want to just see like an announcement trailer, or are you hoping for gameplay? And the only reason I ask that is because of all these behind the scenes problems that Naughty Dog has been having. You know, the losing a writer and losing, some of the lead people that were working on the Uncharted 4 game. Do you think that kind of set them back, or will we actually get to see something solid?
I don't need to see actual gameplay yet, because I still think the game is in development. What I need is an announcement, and then kind of as far as the game is coming out for sure, maybe even a release date. But I also like to hear what the game is about. That's really what I'm looking for from Uncharted 4. I don't want to see graphics right now if it's not going to be the finished product. That always worries me, man. Because you can sink or swim when you do something like that.
It's always so down to the wire, right?
Yeah.
It's always so a little leery. You be like, that looks good, but or it's a game that you was really excited about and it didn't look as good, and it could be bad in both ways. It could work against them in both ways.
But you know what they were doing in previous E3s and announcing the games? They would go out and make this trailer based on different technology, and this game would look amazing, but when you got it at home, oh no, we didn't use what was it, CGI or whatever it is they were using to make the game look better than what it actually was.
Yeah, the biggest culprit of that was when they were getting ready to jump from Xbox to Xbox 360, and they showed that Madden trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you talk about the hugest disappointment ever. Right.
So probably lesson learned on that. I'm just hoping they don't do that again. Next game that's coming out. So that was Uncharted. We talked about that. Oh, The Order, 1886. This is where you are a man in the Victorian era London, and you're using advanced technology to fight, ancient foes. So you're a knight. You're a member of the elite order of knights. You just joined and you're part of this war. So I'd like to hear some more about this game, The Order, 1886. That's coming out.
Early previews on that game wasn't that good.
Previews as far as the graphics or as gameplay and story. What didn't you like about it? At
GDC, I think it was GDC, they were showing the game, and a lot of people said the graphics were amazing when they switched from gameplay to cutscene. The transitions of it were very good. It looked extremely clean.
Okay.
But there was nothing new about that type of genre that the game turned out to be. The gameplay, the direction that they were trying to drive the experience in, none of it felt refreshing or new. They were kind of saying at this point, from what they shown, it was more eye candy They were more selling the eye candy side of it than, what the actual experience would be. So a lot of video game writers who got to see that at GDC weren't really too impressed. So I'm curious myself, and I am really hoping that they actually come with something really strong because it looks good, and I want it to be a game worth buying.
I think when you hear those concerns that you just voiced, E3 is the perfect place to come in and eliminate some of those worries. It's interesting too with the PlayStation 4 and how good the graphics are. And the same with the One. You are in danger of just making games because they look good. It's almost like the movie that comes out and you see the trailers and it's beautiful because the CGI is great, but when you get there, the story is boring.
Like it just hits a little flat. It's just that it's like something's missing, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah, but
you just know it ain't there.
Ignore that because look how beautiful this is. Look what we did with the CGI. Look at it. So
it's like just take a bunch of stills and make a GIF and I can watch that.
Right. So then there's Project Beast that's coming out. That's a game that some people are going to want to hear about.
What is that about? Is that a PS4 game?
It's made by the people that made Dark Souls, and it's a PS4 game. I think it's an exclusive for them. Again, when it starts dealing with the demons and all that stuff, you know me, I kind of go in the other direction. But again, I'm just mentioning games that you guys can look out for. And look for Sony.
Yeah, I see a picture of it.
Yeah, so you got that game. You have Singularity, which is coming out.
Is that a sequel? It is a sequel.
It's made by Raven Software, published by Activision.
I see that. Yeah, okay. That they did like a kind of almost like a developer's preview where they were kind of showing what they can do. Right. With the processing power for that game.
Yeah, so that game's coming, so that's something that you'll probably see demoed. What else did I see was coming out? Drive Club was a game that's coming out.
Now that's coming. That's this year, right? This is Sony's first party racing game.
Yeah, what I did is I went out and looked at exclusives. I didn't look at anything that was going to be on both consoles. Again, I just looked at stuff that was going to be exclusive to Sony. We can talk about some of the other games after we do our E3 review as opposed to our preview. But Drive Club is Sony's racing game. The graphics, of course, looks amazing.
Now I know you're not as big of a race car fan as I am, but does this game do anything for you? Because I know what racing game I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on The Crew. Drive Club isn't. I haven't seen anything about Drive Club that makes me want to go trade in my last racing game, which was Need for Speed, to go get it. Because that's what I do. I trade the last one, go get the new one.
But see, that's the game I was going to mention, man. There was a Need for Speed that came out the first time they introduced the police chases, and I think that was probably the best Need for Speed game out there. They were never able to really capture that magic again. When they dropped the first one on the PS3, they made it a single-player game, unless you were online. That was a fail. So
all of them been like that recently too.
Yeah, I bought it because I thought, man, this is gonna be excellent. I can sit here and race my son. He could be the cop, or I could be the rider. And you cops and robbers, no, you had to be online.
Yeah, go buy you another PS3. Go buy you another copy. Go get you another TV.
Right. Then you had to unlock. You had to win a race so you can unlock the next race. And I was just like, this is too much work for me. I just want to race. I want to soup up my cars. I want to run from the police. So, again, we'll see where Drive Club turns into. To me,
have you heard anything as far as Drive Club having police chases in it?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about it.
So this might just be a pure racer.
And again, that's a problem too. You got Gran Turismo that's out. You have all these other driving games, man. What makes you stand out? And hey, you got Grand Theft Auto, which is actually you can race in that game.
But none of those are on the PS4.
Good point. So this could be that driving game that people who really like racing games have been waiting for.
So would you say that this game would drive people to buy in the system?
I would say that I'm not going to acknowledge that corny. The corniness of the corn that you corn. Corn.
What you got next, man?
The next game is called Deep Down. And this is a role-playing game. Deep Down. It's a role-playing game made by Capcom. It's for the PlayStation 4. It's a dungeon crawler. So, again, weapons such as spears and swords.
I remember the infamous Dragon trailer where you shooting the fire at you.
So, Capcom is interesting, man, for them to be making a dungeon crawler. So, I'm really interested to see how this is going to turn out.
I think they got a dilemma on their hand.
Why?
I think if the game doesn't look as good as the trailer that they shown, it's going to bring a lot of heat to that game.
So again, is this one of those games where the trailer was made on a different platform?
The trailer was supposed to have been made on a system, what are they using, Macs? I think they were using Macs.
Okay. Similar
to the specs of the PS4.
Gotcha.
It's possible. So, I mean, the lighting on it looks crazy. The lighting on it looks just as good as Infamous. So, I mean, if it's still not out yet and they're still working on this game, and let's just say they do decide to release this game before the end of the year,
right?
Maybe even early 2015, it could look like this.
Man, these dragons look amazing, man.
It's the lighting. The lighting for the most part.
The lighting is goodness. But let me ask you about dragons and swords. Is this suffering from the third person shooter syndrome? You have a lot of games out there that deals with dragons and swords.
You have a lot of people that are into medieval genre right now.
Right. Which is cool. I get it. You gotta get the people what they want. I mean, if they want a big
Dragon's Dogma, and then Dragon Age. I mean, that's all. It's not as strong as the zombie genre is, but
right.
You got a fan base. There is a fan base there, especially with Dark Souls. Dark Souls is kind of like this as far as the medieval feel to it and all of that stuff. And a lot of people are into that right now.
I mean, I guess there has to be a market for it if you're making it, but it almost feels like the zombie thing where people are just kind of jumping on the bandwagon and doing something a little different. To cash in on it.
I don't know. I wouldn't consider it jumping on if it's 3 or 4 of those type of games a year.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
Well,
but when you look at shooters, it's the same thing.
It's a ton of shooters, and it's probably 30 different zombie games out there.
Yeah, I got you.
So to me, there's a ton of room for a game like this.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be making. Again, the graphics might be the one thing that sets this game apart from some of the others. If they can live up to the demo we've seen and some of the pictures that we're seeing out there. So
I hope so. That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yep. The next one I have is Destiny. This is an MMO action role playing first person shooter video game. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah.
Massively multiplayer online action role playing first person shooter video game. Did they just take everything and throw it into a pot? Should they just call this game Gumbo?
They was like, we're gonna take Halo because we used to make Halo, which was a first person shooter action game, and mix it with an MMO because it's gonna be online at all times, massively with multiplayers online. And then it's going to be a RPG because you're going to be able to build your character up with a bunch of numbers that stand for this and acronyms that stand for that. And you can build them up and you can play online. Did we mention it was a bunch of multiplayers?
I almost fell asleep doing all of that right there. That was a lot.
But Destiny looks good.
I should say it's made by Bungie, people. This is what is interesting. This is Bungie's first
$500 million budget game.
Well, not just that though, but this is their first PlayStation game, right? Because they were exclusively just Microsoft.
Yeah.
So, I like that.
So wait,
I like that, baby. Come on and get your trip step,
baby. so now that the game looks like it controls exactly like Halo.
Right.
You okay with that?
I am. Why get away from your formula? I haven't played Titanfall yet, but I'm sure
this ain't about innovation, though.
Well, but it's not a big leap from Call of Duty, right?
So can you be truly innovative in the first person genre?
Is Titanfall's control a big leap from Call of Duty?
Oh, Titanfall.
The controller scheme.
No, oh my gosh, no. Except for the fact that you can run. you can run on walls and you can double jump and but it controls just like Call of Duty. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Titanfall controls better than Call of Duty, and
it should be a little bit more tighter than the previous games that were out. But
so is Destiny gonna control better than Halo?
Equal or better should be their goal. It really should. Listen, here's how I feel about shooters and controllers. Make them all the same. To me as a gamer, man, when I make that transition from, say, Grand Theft Auto to Call of Duty to The Last of Us, I've played them enough that I have the muscle memory to make that transition. But sometimes, man, especially with The Last of Us, it takes a round or two of me getting beat up before I get reacclimated to the controls.
I think that's mostly because it's third person, too, though. I think it being in third person makes a difference.
Yeah, but Call of Duty's third person.
First person.
I mean, first person. No. What's the name is?
Last of Us is third person. Now
you got me sitting here thinking.
Yeah, because it's late. You play it all the time.
I know, and that's terrible. It is third person.
Put that drink down.
Woo,
put that drink down.
I need a drink. Yeah, so Destiny, I think a lot of people heard about Destiny, man, and here it comes. So
look, Destiny look good. I just need somebody to play with. If I ain't got somebody to play with that I don't really know, to me that kind of takes away from that game, because Destiny reminds me, without playing it, reminds me of Borderlands 2. And Borderlands 2, for every additional person that was in the room playing with you that you knew, the game got better and better and better.
You know, the Xbox 360 and the PS3 did this thing called Friends List. Get out there, make some friends, man. Buy the game. Meet new people.
I don't know. I don't have time. I don't have
man.
I like the people I know.
Send a friend request and be done with it.
Yeah, but then that goofy guy say something that I just don't agree with.
He called y'all goofy gamers. I didn't say that. He called y'all goofy. I love y'all.
I said that goofy guy.
Listen, the thing about friend requests is so many times when a cat ain't got a mic, you might have been gaming hard with them, and that's great. But when they don't have a mic and you want to add them to your friends list and then they turn their mic on, then there's some 11-year-old dude that is just, can't stand that, man. Yeah.
Look, I like my friends list how it is. Snug and tight people I know. You know what? Problem will be solved when you get your PS4 and you pick up your copy.
Right.
And we be good, because then Trigger Rick was saying he was gonna get Destiny when it come out. So
yeah, but is he getting the 1 or the 4?
The 4. He don't have a 1.
Okay.
All I'm getting on the Xbox One is just exclusives. That's what I'm using the Xbox One for. Is exclusive. I'm a gamer. I just don't want to miss out.
So just moving forward, there are some indie titles, of course, that you always see at these E3s, and I love it, man. Indie titles to me is excellent, because you don't have these huge, big budget games, and a lot of the time that's what we're attracted to. But these indie games are great games, and what's great about them is they're innovative. And when I say innovative, they are different than what you are normally spoon-fed every year with the third and fourth and fifth iteration of a game. And you know, Joe, we should do an indie game podcast one day and just kind of give these people some cover, man, because I think they deserve it. I think as gamers, we have to kind of step outside of our comfort zone as well and seek out these different games to have a better experience. But anyway, you'll have, even with the Xbox, I'm sure you'll see some indie titles, and there are going to be some indie titles for the PlayStation 4 as well. So
PlayStation 4 killing them in the indies. It's not much on Xbox One at all.
You know what the indie titles suffer from? Marketing. That's the biggest thing.
Well, that's what PlayStation is doing. PlayStation's like, especially with the PlayStation Plus, they're saying, let's do this game on PlayStation Plus so it'll get that attention right up front. they're giving these developers cash in hand before the game even comes out. But at the end of the day, that's good for gaming.
It is great for the gamer. It is great for the gamer. So there were two things that I want to touch on. Then I kind of got a surprise topic that I want to talk to Jay, and then we can finish it. Other things to look forward to. Yeah, baby, yeah. Other things to look forward to. Project. Let me make sure I got my notes. So I got sticky notes. Oh, the VR headset.
Oh,
the
yeah.
VR headset. Yeah. So let's see. This is huge. I think this is going to be amazing, man, to see what they can do with it. We're looking for a release date. We're looking for a solid release date. We're looking for
game compatibility too.
Game compatibility, some games for it. We're looking for a price point. Price point is going to be huge. This thing, they cannot price this out the market. You have to get this headset into people's houses, man. So
I think they know though going in that it's a tight market for that type of product though.
Right.
I think it's okay for the price to be. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I think for this VR headset, I'm looking at about $300 to $400.
Man, that's a console. Oh my gosh! Please don't say that. I'd say $200.
But look at the technology, though.
Listen, you got to make your R&D money back. I get it, but I cannot go out and spend $300 or $400 to have this thing in my house.
So what if? Real quick, what if Sony said this works with movies also? This will take any movie, and convert it into 3D. Now, you talk about you don't mind 3D except for it gives you headaches. With this visor, you can enjoy 3D. You got to sell it beyond what it is if you're going to charge that exclusive price.
While I do agree that you do have to make this a very diverse product, excuse me, I think you have to be careful in that you don't overstate the value just so you can sell it for a high price. And I think you have to be careful that you don't lose the focus of what this product is really going to be used for by people in their house. This is going to be for gaming. I don't need to strap on a big old headset to watch 3D movies. I don't even like going to the theater to watch 3D movies because sometimes these movies aren't even necessary to be made in 3D. So,
but I think it's a cool experience if you have this headset, right? Say you got a house full of people, or people just over, family staying the night. Say your nephew or you want to watch this movie, everybody else sleep. It's got speakers in the headset, and you could maybe if the movie not even in 3D, but it's gonna give you that big screen experience. I think that would be something cool on top of what it's actually meant to do.
It really sounds like that's a bang for your buck type product, and I think that's a luxury item. And so I do see maybe some hardcore gamers who like to keep up with the Joneses getting it, but your average everyday gamers who save up to buy that next game or wait till a game is out used, they're going to struggle if you put it at a price point of $400. $300 or $400, I think is too much. $199, I think is a great price for something like this. What if?
Because I like the product. I think
that magazine subscription.
I think this and Oculus Rift is a good idea, right? So what if Sony said, let's just say that initially it's $300, right?
I think that's too high.
Well, hear me out.
I'm hearing.
All right. Sony said sign a 2-year agreement. You will pay an additional $10 a month and pay the $100 upfront cost, and here's your headset. $100 up front, 2-year agreement, $10 a month.
That sound like the Sony layaway plan or credit plan.
You got to get it in people's hands, though.
If you want to get it in people's hands, give it a price point that it can enter the market and sell. Simple as that. So
if that's the case, if price is going to dictate what they do with this, I don't see this coming out for maybe another 2 years. 2014, 15, Christmas 2016, we'll see this out.
And let me tell you something, and I think that's an excellent time if that's going to be the case, because you've had time to perfect it. You've had time to give people there's only 2 kits out right now for one of the products. I think it was the VR. They've only got 2 developer kits out there. Let's take our time and make products, make software for this product. It's almost like the new consoles that came out. Okay, it's out there, but there's really nothing to play on it. again, when we're gonna talk about price point, we go back to Xbox. You gave me a bunch of stuff that you said I had to have because you was trying to get your money. You gave me a bunch of stuff that I needed to buy your system, and now you're backpedaling. I don't want them to do that with these headsets.
So what if they released the headset at $300?
Are you doing math? You got a calculator over there?
What if they released the headset at $300?
Price point is too high,
but it works flawlessly. There's no crosstalk in the 3D picture. The quad is 1080p to both eye. You feel completely immersed. They got surround sound in the headset. You completely immersed.
Da Vinci, shame on you for accepting a product that is not top-notch quality. Listen, you want something when you buy it. You expect it to work. You don't expect it to be. It's going to be all right. It's going to function kind of okay.
Have you seen the Virtual Boy? Nintendo Virtual Boy?
No, I haven't. I heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Google that, and then
I might be scared. I think I remember that, the Virtual Boy.
That was the worst. Virtual Boy was a Game Boy in 3D, but it was in red, which was dumb.
Yeah. Again, the technology just wasn't. It was before its time, and you got to apply their innovation. So, but I didn't want to stay on that too much. I just wanted to kind of go to what I think is going to be the biggest announcement for PlayStation itself at this E3 conference.
$300, 2016. All right, what we got next?
The second to last thing I want to touch on is this PlayStation Now. So
they just came out with the exclusive private beta.
Wait a minute. Did he just steal my thunder? Did y'all see that? Wait a minute. I held this for last. I saved it. This is like when you sit down and make your plate. You know what I'm saying? You got 3 or 4 items on your plate and you eat everything but that last piece of whatever. It can be chicken or whatever. And you're like, I'm gonna say that because that's gonna be the best thing. Your mouth watering, and you get ready. And you like getting ready to bite it, and then somebody come along and snatch it off your plate.
I was excited, man. Yeah. When you mentioned it, I was excited.
Hey.
You know me, I love technology.
You shot your load, dude. And I'm just gonna put that out there.
I like what they doing. I like the idea that they said on live had their chance. We're Sony, we're PlayStation. We about to do it. Let's get it.
Yeah. So so for a lot of you guys who don't know what the PlayStation Now is, or the PS Now, this is amazing. And the beta is out, like he said. You can now go out and play the beta for this. This is going to do some things that are very innovative, in my opinion. The biggest thing that I've heard so far is that you may be able to play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games, streaming these games now on your PlayStation 4. Not only that, let me finish because you stole my thunder once. Not only that, you can also play these games on your Vita. So now you can take this system on the go. That's huge.
And on the TVs, on the newer TVs, you can do it too.
Yeah, on your tablets, your phones, and the smart TVs, you can also stream these games. But Sony has to get it right. I'm going to say it again. Sony has to get this right, and they have to get it right from day one.
Did you see the list?
No, what list?
The games that they have for the list?
No, hit me with it. Read it out to me.
I have to Google that.
We'll Google it.
All right. Yeah, give me some Googling music.
That's terrible. The bench. What is your answer?
All right. Nope. Wow. What?
How much did you wager?
I thought
all
I
of
had it.
All of it. I wagered all of it. I'm broke.
Because they released a list with it. The list wasn't that impressive. But I understand why. To me, in my opinion, I understand why.
All right. Well, while you're out there looking for it, what do you want to see? What else do you think this can do? I know it can play music as well, but
I hope so because they got that music program.
Yeah. I think I wrote the name of that down somewhere. This is the worst preview ever.
Nah, it's a conversation, man. They just listening in on us talk about what we like and what we think is coming good to E3. So I think this is a different take for us to give them.
Right.
Well, I can't find the list. Here we go. All right.
Talk to me.
All right. I think I got the list.
Okay.
All right. So right now on the list, they have All Zombies Must Die, Ben 10, Omniverse, Big Sky Infinity, Choplifter HD, Dead Island Riptide, Eat Lead, The Return to Matt Hazard, Hunter's Trophy 2, America, Mercury HG, MX versus ATV Alive, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath HD, Overlord, Raising Hell, Pacific Rim, Pixel Junk Eden, Papa and Yo, Poker Night 2, Rocket Birds, Hard Boiled Chicken, Tales from Space, About Bob, and Way of the Samurai 3. You
haven't really named anything I wanted to play.
And I've only heard about 3 or 4 of those games on the list.
Okay, so here's some games that I'm seeing. Killzone 3, and Shadow of the Colossus, Darksiders 2, the MX versus ATV, Ninja Gaiden 3. Those are some of the games I'm seeing on the interweb.
Is that on the private? Is that for the private beta, or is that what they hope to have?
No. Now it says what is released entirely the games, which you can see below. Yes, those are games that they expect to have on the beta.
Okay.
So I mean, again, this is the beta, but those are some of the bigger gaming titles, especially the Killzone 3. You have to have that shooter out there to really see how this is going to work, man.
I think what they should do for this, because obviously this is their gateway into the backwards compatibility besides HD remasters. Mm-hmm. I think what they should do then, if this is the case, is they should allow PlayStation, they should have the full possible catalog, because I know there's a lot of like rights and copyright agreements and all this stuff, and a lot of paperwork and blah 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 lawyer stuff.
Right.
But whatever possible, all of the PS1 and PS2 games available day one when it releases, and then they should do a trickle release for the PS3 and PS4. Right.
Yeah, I think the PS3 and the PS4, you got to be careful because then you're trying to kill your hard copies of these games. Once you start getting into streaming for the PS3, I don't think you want to touch that market. But let me ask you a question. For people who own these games, what's their price point? What's the entry point for games that I already own on my PS2? And now, do I have to run out here and buy this game again? Do I get a discount? How does that work?
Well, they can partner up with GameStop.
Boo!
Well, here's your problem, though, right?
Developers hate that.
Well, if you partner up with GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, even Target, you do a trade-in offer, right? So let's just say you want to own this game forever. You already have that hard copy. Bring that hard copy into this store, pay $5, $10, whatever. Here's your PlayStation Now code. You go home, you punch that access code in. You now own that game under the PlayStation Now brand. You forever have that game digitally available to you for the additional $5 to $10.
I don't think it's going to be a profitable enough transaction for a company like Walmart, GameStop, Best Buy to get involved in this. Now, you can go.
Let me counteract that. Now, how could be profitable?
Well, let me tell you why though. You can go to GameStop now in their bargain bin and find PlayStation 2 games that'll probably show up on this now for 99 cents.
But that's not the point. That's not the point. You have a lot of people that want to go. You have a lot of people that want to go digital. This is not for everybody. I mean, they automatically understand this is not for everybody. Okay. You're already paying $10 a month for access to this, right?
For the service. Right. Okay.
So all they're saying is people are saying, why should I get this? And they tell the people, well, look, for $10 a month, you can play these games. We have this set of games you can play for $10 a month. If your game that you own is not on that list,
right?
All right, go trade it in at your local whatever. Now that local store will get a cut of $1, $2, depending on if they're charging $5, $10 to own your digital copy of that game.
Right.
So then that person comes home, punches in the code, they own the digital copy, and then they're streaming their catalog of games from the PlayStation Now server for the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2.
So, but what's the advantage? Is it a better processing speed for your game? Is it updated graphics? Why am I spending this extra $10 for a game I already own that I can play if I just plug in my PlayStation 2?
I can go over to my grandma's house. I can take my laptop. I can take my iPad that's Bluetooth compatible, load up PlayStation Now. I don't have to bring my systems, my games. Okay. All I have to do is bring me a controller and my iPad.
Gotcha.
Sign in, and I'm streaming, and I'm playing my digital catalog of games right on there.
So it's mobility and convenience.
Yep. And and Sony's really making money for nothing. They're still just running the servers.
Right, and so I do like that idea. I do think that you are paying for those services. I'm okay with that. I don't think they're going to go that route where you're going to allow trade-in. Maybe they'll do it for the PlayStation 3 games because that stuff is a little newer, and maybe there's something in those games or something like a code or something that can be attached. Maybe we can even look at your profile in the past and see that you played it. But for the PS1 and 2 games, which, again, they're not 100% sure if these games are going to be available, I think it's just going to be a flat-out price. They may sell them at a price point of $3 or $4 or whatever. Or maybe they just give you a subscription and you have access to everything. That would probably be the better move.
Yeah, but that's why the games list is the way it is.
For the beta.
Yeah. Well, I don't see them getting unless, except for first party games. I don't see them getting a. You're not gonna see anything from EA Sports. You're not going to see anything from EA Sports. You might see a couple of things from Ubisoft and Activision. You're not going to see Call of Duty.
I think Call of Duty would probably benefit the most, to be honest with you. EA Sports I can see because who wants...
EA Sports, you won't see EA Sports because they have Origins. EA has their service, Origins, where they sell games and all that stuff digitally.
Right.
That's why I don't think you'll see EA. Activision, I feel like Activision for the Call of Duty brand doesn't need to do it.
I think I'd say Activision's gonna come up their best that Call of Duty Classics, and that's how they'll make their money.
That would be cool. Yeah. Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2.
Right. Yeah.
But
strictly multiplayer.
Nothing before Black Ops. Maybe nothing before Black Ops 2.
Why not? Everything before Black Ops 2 is what you're looking for.
Well, for them, are their servers still being lit up by people playing the last 4 versions of the Call of Duty game? If so, that game does not belong on the PlayStation Now network. We still have enough people who've purchased it digitally or still own their hard copy and play every day, downloading new maps.
But how much is it costing EA to run those servers?
EA for their Origin?
Well, just to run the servers of these old Call of Duty iterations.
Or Activision?
Activision, whoever's running it, they're not making money off that. They're losing money off that now.
No, you ain't doing nothing but pushing zeros and ones. So you just essentially paying for.
You still have overhead, and you still have.
Well, you got the upfront cost. You got the upfront cost of the servers, and then you just have electricity. You're essentially paying for. As long as people purchase those DLCs, that's like your long run people who play those games eventually get the DLCs because they just don't want to feel left out. That's an additional $60 to me, in my opinion, for nothing. Like for them up front that they're able to get on these older games.
I got you. I got you. Because
it's a cash cow. Call of Duty is a huge cash cow.
You're not printing CDs. You're not printing boxes. You're not shipping.
It's just zeros and ones all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see what they're still doing. That makes sense. Okay, so that's the PlayStation Now. Before I hit this next secret topic, did you have anything else at the E3 that you wanted to mention, or you're expecting to see, or what?
The only thing I got left on my mind is that I hope that EA when they showed did they released a trailer for Madden 15, right? It was just a quick teaser.
During the draft, they did.
How did it look?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I remember seeing something about it, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
Okay, well, hopefully EA will do something with their sports, and hopefully Actually, you know what? Yes, real quick. I hope EA gives us some type of teaser for Battlefront.
Yes. Battlefront. Well, they could win. Oh man. Yes.
Just anything,
Yes.
any type of teaser.
Give me something more than we've already seen Darth Vader on Hall. I want something a little bit deeper. Give me some lightsaber play. That's what I want.
Anything.
If they just ran some sand people across the screen, you happy?
Yeah.
You're easy, dude.
Okay, all right. This will be the ultimate clip,
You're
right?
easy. Okay.
This will be the ultimate clip, right? Show, and then it got to be pretty. Just show like an on the field battle. A guy gets in his ship, hops in the ship, flies off into space, and he's in a space battle.
Oh my God!
Show that full transition.
Yes.
Right, that full transition. You can make it a Jedi. You can make it a whoever.
I would make it one better. Show the Millennium Falcon doing it, being controlled by somebody. And
wow.
I'm already sold, but I'll probably give you my kids if you did
that. But yeah, I think EA is gonna come big. Hopefully they'll show Battlefront and hopefully something good with Madden. And then that's all I got for that.
All right. So the last topic I wanted to touch on is called Party Crashers. Party Crashers. Yeah, not the game. I know you're like, man, what's this game? Party Crashers. No, I'm talking about somebody new to the E3 gaming world that we haven't seen, and that person is probably Facebook.
Going into video games, Facebook coming to E3.
Well, they have
Google.
Google. They have the new headset coming out, right? Facebook does. They bought out the company. Who was it? Oculus?
Facebook bought Oculus, yes.
So, should we expect them to start showing up at our E3 conference? Them and Google.
Well, Facebook said they plan to use Oculus for things other than video games.
But we know that video games will probably be the 50 to 60% of what it'll be used for. I'm just throwing out a number. It's going to be a majority of what the headset is going to be used for.
What if we got this? What if Google reached in their back pocket and gave their whatever hardware, technology lead, whatever, and said, here, make me a video game console, and instead of the PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Nintendo Online,
Steam Machine.
Instead of Steam Machine, make an in-home official $400-$500 hardware console with the Google Play services behind it.
Do you want that in your house? Do you want another console in the market? Now, Steam has already come out and said we're gonna lose money on the Steam Machine.
The big picture, or just all their Steam boxes. I
like the Steam Machine better.
It's Steam Machine. But that's more PC. What I'm referring to as Google makes like your normal console hardware manufacturer makes one model. This is my 5-year platform, right?
Okay, all right.
Google is diving head first. Google signed exclusive agreements for 2 games with EA, 2 games with Ubisoft, 2 games with Activision. Mm-hmm. New IP, fresh product. And then Google also says, oh, and by the way, you have the Google Play Store at your hands. Games only, though. No apps or nothing like that. We're just talking games. And it'll all be, monitored and cared for. Google's like, you'll get all the indie games that you get on Steam and all these da-da-da-da-da-da. We're less restrictive as Microsoft and PlayStation is. New hardware, right? New hardware. With that,
do they need to though? Won't they already have?
I don't think hardware. It would be a need. I don't think Google does things for a need.
No, they don't, and I agree with you.
I feel like Google does a lot of things to push everybody forward.
Yes, and good or bad, yes, I agree. I think Google is that innovation that I always harp about. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the big 3 squirm a little bit.
Because Google got them pockets.
Hey, pockets ain't a problem, brother. Facebook got them pockets, so that ain't a problem either.
Yeah.
But my whole point with mentioning it is, when we start seeing, maybe we'll see these at the Consumer Electronic shows, but at E3, are we going to start seeing some of these other companies start to crash the party? And I mentioned Facebook just because they did have the Oculus headset, VR headset or whatever. They just purchased that. So I'm just curious as to what your thoughts were on that.
I think it would be, is there enough room? I think it's tight now. It's real tight. When you got, like me, I got 3 consoles in my living room, and I'm literally
that's true
stretching to squeeze one off. I want to get one of these boxes out of my living room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to just have, my new Nintendo, new PlayStation, new Xbox. Is there room for Google? Maybe it is, because Google that would allow Google to have Google TV. They already got their TV service. You can have a Blu-ray drive in it. Give me a terabyte, hard drive for storage in there. I think Google can do it. And then they already have their own television service, right? Google Fiber. They have their own TV service through Google Fiber.
How is that one?
Google Fiber is similar to AT&T, Uverse, and Verizon Fios, fiber to the home product.
Okay.
So what if Google releases this box? This box is compatible with their TV service, and then the box is also with an internet connection. Say you don't have Google Fiber. With an internet connection, you can subscribe to their television service. They just say you need this type of whatever. Just throwing it. It ain't that big a deal.
I'm
but
just
I think
thinking about
it,
man. The market is already crowded. That's what.
But with Nintendo falling to the wayside, is there room for Google?
Well, we just said Nintendo owe money, baby. They not going nowhere. they might slow down, but they're not going to go nowhere soon.
So I think that lets us know that it might not be room in that market. It's so tight, it's so condensed. And then you talking about cost. Yeah, Google got the money, but do they want to take the chance to waste all of this?
Great point, Jay. You see Microsoft losing money on the development of the Xbox.
All this R&D money. You're doing all this R&D.
You see Sony. Sony has lost $78 million.
Well, that's just the good thing about that is that's just Sony. That's not with their system. That's just Sony with their. From
my notes, I got sticky notes.
They lost money on the PC side, and that's killing them.
No. The $7 million I am talking about that they lost was associated with the expenses of the PlayStation 4. Specifically, $78 million.
Yeah, but they lost way more than that with the TV and computer side.
Right. And even still, PlayStation continues to be their most successful product right now for them, and they're banking on this as far as their music and their video and other things. The PlayStation 4 is their centerpiece. Everything else that Sony is doing as far as music and videos and all that stuff is going to be centered around this console. So it's an investment for them, for a company that big.
It's making them the most money, I think.
It is.
Is that it for the pre E3?
That's it, man.
Expectations.
We gave y'all some games to think about. We gave you some hardware, some software to think about. We finally hit Nintendo for y'all.
Yeah, we got Nintendo real good.
Yeah, we got them real good. They had that coming, just so they know.
Man, I hope they come through, man. I hope Nintendo come through.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, Nintendo, if you're listening, because I know you are, your next console needs to be called the Super Wii. I'm just going to put that out there. That's free. You can keep that. If you want to send me one, I'll play it.
And as long as it's got a good, I ain't got to rent movies. I ain't got to stream music on it. I don't need Netflix on it. I don't need none of that.
I don't need
just
it.
Give me a powerhouse console, your games, and I'm good.
And give me a real controller.
They do. They got a pro controller, and I heard it's good.
Hold on. Initially, give me a real controller. Don't give me your DS controller, whatever that thing is you came out with it.
No Wiimote or nothing like that.
Don't give me no Wiimote. Give me a real controller. You understand you were being innovative, but let's get back to what makes it Click. If you have to give me a controller with just a directional pad A and B again, give that to me. I'm just being real. I know what the Wiimote was, but I'm just talking about a controller.
Right.
With a wire.
They got it already. They ain't even got to do nothing special with it. They got the Pro Controller. They got it. I think they just got to change directions.
Okay. Cool.
What can they reach you at, man?
I'm everywhere. Best place to reach it. Best way to find me is by doing some skywriting. If you go out, rent your airplane and write Power Pellet Podcast in the air, I will see it.
A Kimbo Merc symbol in the sky.
Yeah, no matter where you're at, I find it. But we everywhere, man. We on all the major social networks. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Power Pellet Podcast. Just do a search for that name and we will pop up. Also, hopefully in the next couple weeks, we will have a Power Pellet website.
Yes.
Where you can come and hang out with us. So that's where they can find us. Where can they find you?
I'm available on Twitter. Davinch Tunami, DAVENCHTUNENAMI.
Write that down, y'all, because it's long.
But it's also in the show notes on the YouTube site. So on each episode, my Twitter handle is on there, so y'all can find me. But I just want to thank everybody for downloading the podcast, viewing it on YouTube. However you were able to get a hold of it, you stole it off the neighbor's phone. Whatever you did to get out of it.
Or you bought it from me because I'm selling them out my